Hey everybody, it's your old pal SimplySuperDave coming at you on a Friday evening from the great state of Louisiana here in these crazy United States on this crazy planet spinning out of control in this crazy universe we call life. How are you all doing this wonderful weekend? I hope you're doing great. I hope that you've had a wonderful week, and if you've had a shitty week and it's been bad, and if you're listening to this, congratulations. You made it. You may have fell all over the place and tripped over your own feet or whatever, but you made it. All right? That's kind of what my point is to all the podcasts. I bring up all these controversial, crazy things only because to bring in light of it. Because in the end of the day, you're going to make it through it, no matter what it is. No matter how horrible. You can't imagine life continuing past that moment, whatever it is. It will. If you just hang on, you'll make it through. People that let go and want to fall off the side of the car, they end up in the dirt, the ditch. Don't end up that way. Hang on for dear life. That's all I got to say about that. I was doing some deep thought about this video I saw, and it was a pharmacist, and he was explaining how the whole health insurance system works. And for instance, there's a particular medicine he brought up in particular, and it costs like $2 for him to get. He would charge the customer $4. But soon as they show their insurance card to him, he, by law, cannot tell them that you could buy it directly from me and not pay the copay of $10, because they'll have a copay set up. And if it's a $10 copay, even if the medicine isn't worth $10, they will see. That's where they say it evens out, because you'll get medicine that's more expensive. All falsified. Cost. The pharmacist is doubling the cost on you already, right? So what the health insurance does is it multiplies it by 5 times, gives a quarter of that share to the pharmacist, and then it keeps the other 3/4. And so they make $6. You see what I'm saying? And that's how the health insurance system's set up. So when you go get a medication you think is got to be pretty expensive, generic, whatever, and for the pharmacist, it wouldn't be very expensive at all. But because of health insurance, and you show that ID, they are legally not allowed to tell you can get it cheaper bypassing the insurance. And that's crazy, isn't it? That's how the system is set up in the medical field, in pharmacy, for God's sakes. How did business end up calling the shots when it comes to how the business of pharmacy and medical is done? Don't get me wrong, folks. I understand everything that can generate money is a business. I get that, okay? But I don't tune into Monday Night Raw to expect Vince McMahon to come out to wrestle every Monday night, okay? It's special occasions, pretty cool. But you know what? That's not what I'm there for. I'm there for the wrestlers. I'm there to see who's going to be hoot for the belt, kind of thing. That, I don't turn into the baseball games to see the owners sit around and talk about trade negotiations. I know some people think that's cool. I like the game baseball, okay? I love watching the players play the game, all right? If I go to a doctor, I should not have worries of making a decision of, do I want to go in financial debt, or do I just want to die or get through it? I thought I would be living in a country where I could just go to the doctor like they did in England, and it's part of my taxes. That way I feel at least like that's worth paying for. Because giving them the money right now and watching what they do with the budget and what they do in their time attacking one another in Congress all the time is a waste of my money. Because I know how much these motherfuckers are getting paid per year now, and they're going to make this for the rest of their lives, part of their little clause. So many things are corrupt in our system, and that's why you got to stay super. That's why you got to hang on and get through it. Because when the system is that corrupt from within, and you're forced to have to deal with it, it puts a mental strain on you. All right, and that's the stuff I really like to talk about, because once you alleviate it, once you verbally say it, that makes you feel better. Now, here's the key thing: let's not be entitled here and go bouting out our venting on somebody that probably doesn't deserve it, or might not be in the mood or ready for whatever you got to say. You got to find that person or somebody, and even if you do find that somebody, sometimes the best time to do it is the right time. You got to remember, you are not the most important person in the world, but to yourself. And you can't force other people to make you an important person in their world, because you can't be the most important person in their world. Everybody's just you. Okay, so the next in line people are the ones that would consider you very important and care about every little single thought that you have. All right? Very few of those people exist in my life. They'll claim different, and I get that part, but I'm talking about realistically every day, people that really know me, that I have. That's the reason why the podcast is kind of unique in a way, because I am so cut off from people, to the point where when I look at any subject, controversy or anything, I kind of look at it from all sides. I want to understand why they feel this way that I disagree with, or man, I really agree with that. They take it to another level. Let me really listen to them. Or whatever, this dude sounds off his rocker, but logically he's kind of right, if that is what happened, because usually there's a lot of theories out there, and a lot of them have, like I said, it's a lot of truth just extended into a lie and wrapped up in it, to the point where you don't believe what the true part is, like UFOs and aliens. I mean, how long did we all believe in this, but constantly we're denied. We know our government keeps so many secrets from us, even though they're supposed to be a transparent government to our democracy and our republic of people, because we are a republic of the people. We are Rome's greatest vision that never got accomplished because of its greed. And here we are, fussing and fighting all about stupid little things. Movies being casted differently from what you think you should have done. Well, go be a fucking director and do it yourself. Because I feel your pain on that, but at the end of the day, that's what I tell myself. I said, well, you know what? If I ever become a director, I'll fucking make the movie exactly the way. I'll make it look like a comic book come to life real. Like, I will find people with that 70s curl hairstyle, and I'll make it look like Peter Parker from the fucking 70s. Blue eyes, just like the dude in the 70s that played his character. I grew up on that General Electric Spider-Man. I love that shit. I am old school. I am late 70s as a childhood, and then 80s. Young childhood, like 10 through, whatever. And then the 80s, that was the 10 through, whatever. And then late teen years, late teen years, yeah. Then that was the 90s, which I consider honestly, that would be everybody's favorite generation, whatever, that period leading into your 20s. Is a very awesome, it's very foundational building, music, movies, everything that you consume in that period of time is like, those things that you always remember as a society together. And now we're to this point where I still think that happens, but it's more on the down low, and there's different platforms, but people are more nosy, like parents actually know what their kids listen to, and compared to what I grew up, where my whole life was separate from my parents. I kept everything a secret if I could, and if I got questioned, I answered, but they never ask, I don't tell, kind of thing. And I think that's how we were all raised, and now everything's just so out in the open. It's a very microscopic kind of lifestyle that we live as a society. And we purposely put ourselves out there for it. That's why when people disappear off media, I'm really shocked, because I think that's a lot of dedication to not be connected to the internet. But I don't see, even through work, that you can avoid being connected to the internet in some sort of way, like have to use it as a tool. And even though I have claimed that the internet is the mark of the beast, because it is the one unification that literally invisible bond around the entire planet that for the first time in human history, has the entire populace connected on the same page. It's a big step, and it's not a physical step as much as it is a mental state of mind. And I think it's a slow transformation of people waking up and just looking at everything differently and having to really let go of what we have been, I hate to use the word brainwashed, but brainwashed at what's right and wrong. Not so much, because we all can feel what's right and wrong. But what is the purpose behind letting the things that we see go that are wrong go unchecked? Like the medical field, for example, with the pharmaceutical pricing and how basically the health insurance company is raping you, if you copay $10 each time, because more than likely the medicine you're getting is not even worth that $10. But they're making an extra $6 off of you, double paying what's already there. It's a pretty amazing system how that's all set up, just for the general greed of things. And so you got to stay super and figure out what's the best avenue for you to take. If you have good health insurance, God bless you. You're one of the lucky people. That is something they want to offer you, because it's a bill that you can pay each month now. And the health insurance companies, the only reason why universal health care even exists is because health insurance companies bought in on it, because it would be a mandate to where everybody would have to have it. And with that constantly going back and forth, that's the reason why health insurance still kind of is on its own when it raises its rates and just blames it on, it's inflation. And that's the killer part. And the reason why I told a friend a while ago, it's like, I'm always going to be paycheck to paycheck until I die on the job. And that is because I even thought, a couple of years ago, I thought I could, retire one day. But when inflation over the last couple of years and everything going the way it has, I'm now more like treading water than I was getting ahead just a couple of years ago. And it's pretty sad. But all things aside, that is the struggle. That forces me to have to maybe figure something else out down the road. But as the older I get, the less innovation, that generational period that is no longer there, that I still remember. I can remember that youth and that exhilarance and never wanting to sleep. Now sleep is my best friend. It's when my body can rest and recharge to be able to go a little bit longer. Not as good as I once was, but I'm good once as I ever was. I'm pretty much at that point, So, never say never, just not every day. Folks, I hope your weekend is kicking off right. Like I said before, even if you had a shitty week, I'm glad that you made it to this Friday. And try to make a little time for yourself. That is my staying super tip. Pick a movie or something. Turn everything off. Kind of isolate yourself. Enjoy the sounds of nature. Go find a park to sit in. Sit in your house with everything off. That'd be weird. But anyway, find something that you're into. If you want to read a book, turn off your phone. Read the book. Get into it. Read until you want to quit. And that's how you should live your life every day that you're awake. Read it like you don't want to quit. Never get too bored with it. Spice it up. Add a little detail, a little flavor. And that is how you stay super. And folks, you ain't got to spend any money. This is all in your head. It's all a mental control. It's all about perception. I've told people this. You can have everybody outside of you telling you, it's blue, it's blue, it's blue. But if you see it's green, it doesn't matter what the rest of the world sees. It's green to you. I get that. Just remember, the minority doesn't rule the majority, though. So don't go out there and get mad because everybody else can't see it's green. Remember that. All that matters to you is how you deal with it and how it looks to you. It's just like dealing with that hate and fear. You can put it on the back burner all you want, but the smoke's going to start billowing, and you're going to have to deal with it. And the sooner that you do, the more you can look back on it and laugh and find the love. That conquers all of that. But you got to deal with it first. The love and laughter ain't going to be there unless it's over. All right, folks. I hope I gave you a little something to think about. Maybe look into your health insurance program there a little bit. And just look into other countries' health insurance programs. See what they pay when they go to the doctor. That'll be a nice little rabbit hole for you to dig down. And you'll see just how different it is to live in this country and why the price of freedom is not cheap at all. And yet at the same time, we keep handing it over for a lower price as if it's on overstock. It's not on overstock. It's very, very, very limited. And it's up to you, patriotic American citizens of this country that loves freedom so much where you don't have to worry about being killed for celebrating life the way you want to. There's a lot of countries out there that have a death penalty for just being gay, for example. That's a little extreme. But here, our Constitution, our founding fathers established a way to where we can get from that to where we are now. So before you think you're so woke to look back and criticize generations before you, they were just stepping stones. Because it doesn't happen overnight. People generally weren't as smart as you. They were capable, but the information was never there. Like I said, first time in human history where I could put this out and someone on the other side of the world can listen to it within minutes of me releasing it. Hell, there's even streaming platforms where you can interact with me live from around the world. Seriously, I have a fan that's in Croatia. It's amazing. One of my first chatters ever in the stream. Still shows up every time I fire it up, every 3 or 4 months or so. But I do still, or I wouldn't be doing this podcast. So remember, folks, there's a poor guy out there whose dryer went out, and now he has to make life decisions at the grocery store just so he can figure out how to get a new dryer. And that's his biggest problem, compared to some of the other people in the world that are going through human trafficking, the loss of a loved one. I'll take the dryer problem any day of the week. Gotta love my life, no matter how hard it is, because I'm always going to be hanging on and loving it and laughing the whole way like a madman, because I'm conquering every bit of that hate and fear. Go be a conqueror, folks. Don't be a victim. Have a great weekend.